want to thank everybody for joining us again with another episode of My Derby Romance. Really appreciate you watching and being encouraged by this podcast. And today I'm here with Drop Dead Alice. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Drop Dead Alice. I'm originally from Windsor, Ontario. I helped start the league there. Then I moved to London, Ontario, and now I'm skating with Ann Arbor Roller Derby. So it's been super fun. I've traveled around for Derby.
Very cool. I can't wait to hear more about that. My first question is, when did you fall head over skates for roller derby?
So mine is, I find like my story is kind of cliche. I was like 16 and I found the movie Whip It with Elliot Page and I was like, what is this? Oh my God, I have to do this. So I found the Windsor, Ontario Roller Derby League was just starting up and I was like 16 and I like begged my mom to drop me off at this bar downtown. I was like, please, I really want to join roller derby. Can you just drop me off with these like group of like tattooed strangers, like, please, mom? And she's like, oh God, fine. So she like dropped me off and I went to the first meeting and then I fell in love with it. Like all of these different bodies and people and like identities just coming together to skate. It was like so magical.
I understand completely. I do. Mine was a little different, but we actually did go to the premiere of Whip It. So we were like established at that point.
Oh my God.
Well, here in my city, there was a premiere and we were skating and we even got to do like, we had some mock holy rollers and whatnot. Oh no, Pearl Scouts.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. We got to like sit together and watch it and cry, and it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I think that was like in 2008, 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was so much fun to have pictures. I was actually a couple of months pregnant with my daughter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I had gotten a season in, and then I had my daughter, and I came back as soon as I can, like third season. And there was like a few of us who had derby babies.
I love that.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. We didn't skip a beat. We're like, when can we skate again? You know, like, it was fun. So how was your roller derby first date? Was it, whether it be your first bout or your practice, or if you want to tell us about both, we want to hear it.
So my first practice was like probably the most magical thing I've ever experienced. So when Windsor first started out, they started practicing in this place called Charles Square, and it was this like outdoor park. And then we eventually moved to this like old like bunker that was like so ideal for roller derby. It was so like creepy and like gothic and amazing. And my parents would like willingly drive me to the next town over and drop me off and like like watch me skate and play derby. I was like super fortunate when my parents like kind of figured out what it was. They were like super encouraging and they were like really happy I had joined. So we would like skate around in this old bunker and I was like this little like 16-year-old and I was like, I want to play roller derby, and I would just keep showing up and I feel like the adults were like, oh my God, like they're back again. Like this little bratty 16-year-old, they're like, I'm on roller skates. It like they just like put up with me, but it was like amazing. Roller derby was definitely like has helped me like grow up and like become who I am today, and I don't know where I would be without it.
I love that. And I love how encouraging your parents were. And because even I think I started derby when I was 30, and my parents weren't my parents weren't encouraging, and I was a grown-up. Like I had a baby. He was 9 months old when I started skating, and it did so much for me. So I totally understand. Like I had a community, other mothers that would help me. I was a first-time mom. Roller derby's been there even to this day, like telling you that I was in this car accident and guess whose car I'm driving? One of my derby sisters. You know what I mean? Like food, whatever I needed. Derby sister picked me up from the hospital, like it's been, like you said, magical. I love it.
I remember like at Bouts, I just like want to share this like tidbit 'cause it's so funny.
Yeah, of course.
So we would like sell buttons of like I Heart, like Drop Dead Alice buttons, and my mom would go to the merch table and buy all of my buttons and like hoard them. And one time I went home and I pulled open a drawer and it was like a drawer just full of buttons because she had bought
Oh,
every
oh
single one.
my God.
And I was like, Mom, you don't need all these. And she's like, yes, I do.
Oh,
I know. So funny.
it's too early to cry in this video, in this podcast. But that is awesome. I love it. I love it so much. Do you want to talk about your first bout?
Yeah.
Okay.
I so because I'm like small and speedy, I'm usually a jammer. And I remember I like had just like turned 18. I just got cleared to hit because like I started when I was 16 and like we were playing Guelph. I was playing for Windsor and I was on the jam line and I swear I almost peed my pants. I was so nervous. Like I was like, I can't do this. Oh my God, I'm gonna pee. And I like looked over and like now we're friends. I was jamming up against one of my friends, Adam Bombshell, and I was like, I can't do this, but like I remember like the instant I got lead jam and like I scored my first point and like I scored my fifth point and like when my jam ended, it was like the feeling is like no other. And like I know I'm like preaching to the choir. It was like it was so empowering. I wanted it. I wanted to do it all the time. I wanted my whole life to feel like that. I wanted to live in that moment of like my first jam.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But not everybody's in Derby that watches the podcast. I just want to thank you who watches these podcasts and you don't do Derby. Thank you for your support. But so they do enjoy hearing those things, you know, and yes, and everybody does, even if you do Derby, you're like, yes. And it encourages people like me who have been skating all these years and don't want to get hit anymore. I'm like, I don't want to be a jammer.
Like,
And it's really hard. Like, I think for me now to not to say I just want to block and be able to still do that, because when push comes to shove and you're short jammers, you know you're going to give into it, knowing that I'm not sure if I can take that anymore, right? I'm 43 now, so it's just different. And I know I say this in all my interviews because I'm going through the change, not the change as like a woman, but the change of like transitioning to not being a skater anymore, but still wanting to support Derby. So I love doing this interviews. And I think that I'm still okay with not being the young. I love watching your energy. I am cool with watching your energy and not and being on a leave of absence. It's beautiful. So how did you come up with your alter ego?
So one day I was like sitting in high school math class and I was like daydreaming because I don't do math very well. So like, why not just daydream and not pay attention to class? And I had a friend sitting behind me and she had known I joined Derby and I was like, let's come up with a Derby name. Like, let's just do this. And so we just started like rattling off names to each other. And I was, and still am obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. And my friend just like threw Drop Dead in front of it. And like that became my alter ego. And they are like tough and vivacious and like they call me Gumby because I'm like super bendy. So it was like really cool that I can like just kind of carry this memory of like my friend who had made up this name like along with me in my Derby career.
How fun to rendezvous with Derby while you're in math class. It's just like a fun escape. Derby is a fun escape as it is, you know? So did you ever feel like you lost Drop Dead Alice? And if so, how did you get her back?
That is a tough question. I feel like I did when I wasn't in like a great position in life. I was going through a lot of like abuse in a relationship. And so I just like kind of like didn't know who I was. And like I remember skating on the track and I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. And like I just didn't feel like drop dead Alice anymore, and games weren't the same. But like I got into the relationship and I started like running and training really hard, and I started to like just like throw myself back into derby, and like I rewatched Whip It because like I just started at the roots of like where I fell in love with it. And I would put on my skates and I would skate up the street where I first started, and then I just like started to like fall in love all over again, and I started to find myself again. So derby like really helped empower me like get out of an abusive relationship, and it also like helped me find Drop Dead Alice again. I can't thank derby enough, and I have no words to say what it's like done for me.
I love that. I love how derby will give you your power back. Like, oh, here you go. You know, like it's amazing. I love that. What were you looking for in roller derby?
Man, I feel like when I was like 16, I don't know what I was looking for, because I was just like a 16-year-old brat who like thought I was like knew everything and like thought I like knew the world. And I just, when I saw Whip It, I was like, this is fucking badass, and like I want to be badass. So I was just looking for space to like, I guess like be badass on roller skates, and like I got like so much more. I didn't know like derby would help me like grow up and like find myself. And like I found like when I was going to high school, because like I was hanging out with like I guess like older adults, like I was the baby, I was 16, everyone was like 20 and 40 or whatever, and I was just like growing up a lot faster, and I got into activism because of derby, and like I had found my love for skate park skating because of derby. So like there's just so many offshoots. Like I came looking for one thing and I got so much more.
By the way, I love you and you are so badass.
I'm gonna cry, but like
Me too. You're amazing. I think you're the cutest thing. I just want you to walk around with me in life. And just
I was gonna say, like when you showed up on Zoom, I'm like, I want to be you when I am 40, like I want to be you. And if I'm not, I don't want to be anybody else. Like that's it. Like you're so cool.
So are you. I want to grow up and be just like you.
I'm gonna cry.
Let's just take a break and get some water really quick. So we know how roller derby can be like this growing obsession because it's so awesome. It's a monster. Were there ever times that there was no balance between you and derby?
No, I feel like I've always been pretty good at balancing like me and derby. I feel like when the pandemic hit, that really changed because like obviously we couldn't play derby. So it was like kind of adjusting like a balance without derby, and like kind of figuring out who I am outside of derby, because like as we all know, it's so ingrained into who we are and our identity. And so I feel like that was something to figure out, and it was really hard. But I feel like I've gotten to a position that I'm like, okay, kind of know who I am outside of derby. I don't love it, but like yeah, like I would just cry for days in bed because like I couldn't play derby, but I'm not doing that anymore. So yeah.
I did that, I think, like when we had our derby divorce, where there was like a split, and then we had another league birth. Now it was a birth. Back then it was just like painful. Like, what do you mean there's another league starting? Where are you guys going? And my whole world, like I cried a lot too because I didn't know it was gonna happen. It was like for me a derby divorce where it was like, what's gonna happen with me? You guys don't love me anymore. Kind of like, yeah, it was really I think my partner at the time was like, you act like someone died. And I was like, I feel like something just died.
Right.
It was my world, and it was like crumbling around me. It's very intense,
Intense.
Speaking on that, how does derby make you feel?
I like don't want to cry because like I feel like I'm like going to.
It's okay.
It makes me feel like I'm like flying. Like roller derby is like the closest, in roller skating is like the closest thing I can feel to flying, if that makes sense. And like
Yes, it does.
derby is the most empowering thing I've ever like experienced in my life. It has seen me at my best. It has gotten me at my worst. Like I remember when just like one of my aunts had like just died, and like I went to practice because I was like, this is my space, I need to be here. And like I remember just like collapsing and crying, and like all of my teammates just like surrounding me and like hugging me. And it was like the most, yeah, like I can't think of a position like I could be in and like not call a derby person. Like I moved countries to be with my partner, but like I am still in contact with my friends in Canada, and like I could call a derby person on the drop of a dime and be like, I'm in trouble, or like I just need to talk, or like I need to do XYZ, and like they would be here in a heartbeat. And like it's a family. Derby is a cult, but like it's also like a family. And like it's just the most powering thing. Like when I hear like the skates on the floor, when you start skating for warm up, when like the first whistle blows, when the first jam is over, like it's all just so invigorating and empowering, and just like it like amplifies your spirit. I can't describe what derby does for you. It's like literally indescribable.
Yeah. I mean, people don't understand it. If you don't
No,
derby, they're like, so do you get paid to do that? And you're like, no, I pay them. I
like
pay them to do that. For years it was like, you give them your time. It's not just time doing practice, but there's committees and there's everything, that it entails. It's a whole production, and we love it. It is like a cult because we're always trying, like, do you skate? Do you want to come to practice? It's
literally.
okay if you don't know how, we'll teach you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's funny. Have there been any obstacles that have gotten between you and derby?
um I'm just thinking. I would say like I said, my parents are pretty supportive, but I would say like mostly just like partnered relationships, like intimate relationships. Like a lot of partners wouldn't necessarily understand like I'd be like, no, I can't because I have to go to practice. I can't because of a game. I have a committee meeting. I have a heads meeting. Like, derby is like so many facets, like you said. And so like a lot of partners were like, well, I don't get it. Like, da, 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 da. I was like, but I have to do this. Like, this is derby is like my livelihood. It's what like keeps me going. It's something that keeps me alive. So like I have to do it. So like it was like hard balancing that relationship. Now I have like a partner who's like great, and like I'm going to skate, and he's like, okay, we'll talk to you later. Don't get hurt. No, can't promise that, but like, yeah.
Don't break a leg.
Yeah, yeah, all the time. Every time I go skating, he's like, oh, okay, well, don't break anything.
I'll stop saying that.
Right? I'm like, you're cursing me.
And I think that's something that attracts people to us. And then when they see how much it takes to be in derby, most derby people are go-getters as it is. So they're not just doing derby, but they're also, I'm, full
Yeah.
of just exciting things and very colorful people. They're going to school, like they're hardcore at everything they do for the most part. That it's very luring to other people, very interesting, very intriguing. And then they try to be in your life, and it's just kind of like, I have this much time for you.
Right. Right.
You either take it or you leave it. But
right.
if I give you this much time, it's because I really dig you. So, I mean, it's cool if you don't want to, but
right.
So cool if you do, but that's all I got. And it's okay. I mean, not most people, I lie. There's some people that are down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So speaking of relationships, have you and Derby ever broken up?
No, I've been skating solid since I was like 16. I was had a pandemic, obviously, but like I've been going since I was 16, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
So we talked about how you feel about the Derby community being like an expanded family. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, like I just feel like there have been so many points in my life where like for example, like I had a recent ex and like we were together for 7 years. It was a really messy breakup. And like I just at one point didn't have anywhere to go. And like I sorry, I swear like there were like four Derby people being like, you can stay at my house. What do you need right now? What can we get you? Do you need
Mhm.
groceries? Do you need do you need to do laundry? Do you need somebody to talk to? Do you need a coffee break? Do you need a ride here, a ride there? And it was like just instantaneous. And like I've watched people just like struggle and like Derby's just like, what do you need? Or like they're there on your good days, like, hey, like I'm really proud of you. Like going through school, like all of my, I always call them my Derby moms. Like I feel like everybody always moms me because I'm like the young one, but they're like, we're so proud of you. Like we've seen how hard you work. Like it's just like their extended family. They're there if you're happy. They're there if you're sad, and like on a dime, they're there if you need something. And it's just like the most loving, accepting community. Like in sports I've ever seen. Like there's just so many variant identities. There's queer folks and there's gender variant folks, and like everybody comes to Derby. Like it's like in Whippet it says like the island of the misfit toys, and like that's exactly what Derby is. And like regardless of who you are, like everybody's so accepting and loving of each other.
It is. It's like a family. You guys like maybe
Yeah.
fight on the track, but then once you're off the track, it's like it's cool, right? Not only that, I feel like a lot of people bring their pain to Derby. It's whatever. I always say, you take your power back on the track,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it takes a little while sometimes, to get better, but as soon as you start absorbing those hits and giving those good hip checks and staying on your skates, that's when you start to feel like your power coming back from that shitty job,
Yeah.
relationship, bad day, whatever. Even if you get knocked out and you get back up, you're like, that's what I need. That's what I needed to do today because I couldn't do it at work, or because I
Yeah.
couldn't do it here and I couldn't do it there. It's metaphorical, right? And I think that's why we're able to see and be there for people, because we're all leaving it on the track. And it's, I guess what I'm trying to say is like people understand, not only are they giving you what you need on the track, but they're able to understand pain outside of Derby, to know, hey, I'm here if you need this, I'm here if you need that. And because we're a certain kind of tribe, it's like, I remember I had some loss, like one right after another. And my Derby sister was like, dude, this is some crazy shit. And I'm like, right? Same sister who went to go pick me up at the hospital on Friday, right? And she's like, so whenever you're ready to go, we live by mountains, whenever you're ready to go climb a mountain and just scream your head off, I'll go with you. And that was probably one of the best things out of everything that I would hear from so many people, like, God works in mysterious ways, blah, blah, blah. So many things that I just was like, that doesn't help me. But you're being kind and you're being respectful. Like, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And it's just more annoying than anything.
Yes.
You have your Derby family who comes in and just says the right thing. Like, I'm
Yes.
like, dude, I might take you up on that offer. Like, that feels really good that I know that I could stick my head out of your car and scream till I can't scream anymore. And that you're going to be like, you need some water. You know what I mean? Just, it's not going to be weird. It's not going to be, and it's just a beautiful new family that you choose.
Yes.
What's been your worst Derby moment?
Oh my God. Yes. I was playing a B game and I was jamming, and I went to go through the pack, but I think I hit the pack too hard and everybody collapsed and fell. And then I felt my ankle, I heard a pop in my ankle, and I was like, no, 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 no. And I just remember screaming like, God damn it. God damn it. And then whatever, like everybody kind of cleared off the track and my coach came running over. I was like, it's fine. I'm still gonna jam. It's fine. I'll get up. And he was like, no, you need to stay on the ground. I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna finish the jam. And he's like, you probably broke your ankle. And I was like, no, I didn't. And so like he like carried me over the bench and like called my partner and they're like, you need to come get Alice. And my partner was like, oh, did they get another concussion again? And then my coach was like, no, your ankle's broken. And like it was probably the worst moment because like I would go to practice and like I would just like sit and watch people play derby and I was like a sad puppy and I was like and like I would like always look at my coach and like I'd be like, I'm gonna play again, right? And I'd be like just like crying and it was like it was only 6 weeks, but like it felt like forever. It was just like so hard to like not skate.
6 weeks is really fast too for like a broken
Yeah,
ankle,
I got
right?
really lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we've all been there. We understand. And I mean, even if you don't play derby, it's just like when you do something you love and they're like, you can't. I think that was the hardest part about being pregnant for me is not, even though I wasn't in derby with my first kid,
Yeah.
it's just them saying like, you can't. And to people like us, when somebody says you can't do something, you're just like, oh, we're so, I'm stubborn, first of all.
Same. Same.
Like, and it's like it's good for me to a certain extent because it makes me very determined, but at the same time, it's still stubbornness, at the end of the
Yes.
day. And I understand. What's been your best derby moment?
There are literally so many to choose from.
That's amazing.
Literally trying to think of like okay. I'm like trying to think of the best one. So I was playing for Forest City Roller Derby. They're based in London, Ontario. We went to Philadelphia to play a tournament. And I think we were playing a team from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And I had met some friends like from the Philly team. And as I was like jamming, they started singing Hold Me Closer, Tiny Jammer, because I'm so small. And they just started chanting like Tiny Jammer, Tiny Jammer. And it was like amazing. And I was crying on the track. It was like the best cheer ever.
That is really a really good
Yeah.
moment. There's so many awesome moments
I
that
know.
I get to listen to and like just share that. And I'm like, wow, I love doing these interviews. You have no idea. Like, I get to meet people that I would probably never meet, even if I was on travel team or, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many beautiful skaters that I'm just super grateful that universe sent this idea this way so that I could just reach out and be like, hey, do you
This is
guys want to
amazing.
talk to me through Zoom? And they're like, yeah, we do. And I'm like, yes. So I'm not sure how this goes in where you live and what you're doing as far as skating, but I don't know if it's still present with things opening up, but how were you or are you coping with the pandemic and Derby?
It was really hard at the beginning. Like I remember like the first lockdown, I like cried for days and days and I wouldn't get out of bed. And like on practice nights, it was like really fucking hard. And like I didn't want to look at my skates. I didn't want to see them. And for a while I just didn't. I like couldn't look at them. But like as things opened up, I think I had a couple practices in August, which was like so like electrical and magical. And like even though we couldn't hit, it was like just being in that environment and being like on the track was like I just can't, it's just like a feeling like I can't describe, like, like it's just like your wheels hit the floor and you're like, this is it, this is what I live for, I love this. But we are currently like shut down because numbers are getting really high in Michigan. I'm still skating at the skate park just to keep, like active. And I really like, bowl skating and like touring my body at concrete. So it's not hitting my friends, but it is like, I guess, like kind of the same feeling.
It's the same and different at the same time, because when you get a new trick and you go higher,
Yes.
like you aim, like, because I do a little bull skating here and there, haven't. That's what I really want to work on a little bit more now that I might not be bouting anymore, depending on how I feel after my internship. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. Like I love like setting that, like, even if you just get one skate over like that one area that
Yes.
you're running to do. Yes, dude. I'm just like, did I get it? Like, did I go? Like, you always have to ask your friend. When I do, I think I'm a little more I'm not adventurous or brave if there's another skater with me.
Yeah,
But
I feel
when
the same
there's
way.
if I'm by myself, I probably won't push myself as much. I usually just stick to like executing like one
Yep.
good trick or whatever. But if somebody's there, especially if they know, like if they tell me, I'm really good with direction. Like if
Mhm.
you say, try that again, but bend your knees and then try to pump, like when, you know, anything like, if you're going to fall towards the wall, then
Yes.
I have it like instruction. And I
Yes.
feel like I'm concentrating on what I'm supposed to be doing instead of like, I'm like this way with my skates. And I won't even think about it. I'm just like, okay, put my knees down, pump, do
Yes.
this, do that. I just do it. And I'm like, and then it feels like you said, flying. It's just like, hell yeah. Or like I jump and I do a 360. That's always cool too.
Yes.
But any words of encouragement for skaters who are out there, maybe needing a word, whether they're skating again or not, or maybe they don't know what to do? I don't know. Anything you think of that you might want to share with your fellow skaters?
Yeah, I know it's like cheesy, but just like hold on. I know like things are really, really difficult for the derby community right now because like we find power on the track and we find power in our skates. But like know that you have like a global community behind you and like, you know, like reach out to like your fellow skaters and like reach out to people and like I know that's sometimes hard, but like yeah, like think of how many people like around the world, you know, share a commonality with you and like it's just like we're all this one global connected family through like roller skating. And so like I know it's hard, but we'll be back on the track soon and like smashing into each other soon.
Yes, absolutely. And you could watch my Derby Romance podcast if you want to get
Yeah.
encouraged also. Well, I want to thank you so much
Thank you. Oh
for
my
your
God.
time and your beautiful interview. I want to thank all of the people who take time to watch my Derby Romance and support it. I want to thank my friend Small McCartney, Train, Olivia, for helping me put together my Derby Romance. And for this, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but
That's
Ali
so
Kelly
cool. Look
Design
at it.
does my Derby Romance. She did this for me. If you want to check out her website, it's
Yes.
Ali Kelly Designs. She does my Derby, no, Be Your Own Hero coloring book. It's on Amazon. It's a roller derby coloring book. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Yeah. So I'm going to promote that again. She also has her own YouTube channel, which I will put links down below. And actually, I'm going to have her do that for me because she's better at it. But yes, thank you. And we will see you again next time.